Hey, Sanitary, Raul Jimenez here with the Schrader Group doing another live expert testimonial with Nefi, president of Envision Title. Everyone always asks the question, what is a title company? Why do I got to pay for it? Who pays for it? And we got the man here to explain a couple of things for us today. So what exactly is a title company?
So, title company is going to be someone that is going to handle everything from contract to close. So we are a third party, disinterested, as far as we don't represent anyone. We just make sure that everything flows the way that it's supposed to flow. And really just we hit everything from contract to close.
So why is it so important that we get a title policy?
It's an insurance policy for you as the new homeowner, that you're going to have clear title to that property.
Okay.
We see a lot of transactions. There'll be a purchaser that buys it, at the courthouse, maybe from a friend, an heir. I have all sorts of scenarios. But what tends to happen in those circumstances is I give you a deed. You're now the owner.
Sure.
You go to refinance or you go to sell. You didn't get a title policy when you purchased it. And now you find out that there's all of these title matters, that now have to be cleared because you're on the hook.
Sure. So you're talking about like liens, any kind of judgments, things like that?
Yes. There's a plethora of issues that come up.
Yeah. So what does a typical escrow process look like? So once we get the contract into you guys, what are the next steps that the buyer and seller need to experience throughout the process?
Yeah. For us, once the contract comes in, we hand it off. The first step is we, open the file, hand it off to our examining team. They examine the real property records, court records. It's kind of behind the scenes, that's everything on us. For the purchaser, what we need from the purchaser is really, if it's a cash deal, it's real simple, just buyer information. If there's a lender involved, then we communicate with the lender. On the seller side, there's a lot more that we do with the seller.
Right.
That's who we need payoff information, if there is any liens, encumbrances, survey, the list goes on and on. So we really interact a lot more with the seller on what we need, but we do communicate with both parties, the life of the...
Right. So what is a typical timeline? Like, let's just say you get the contract in outside of the lender, right? Because those are the people that kind of tend to, drag things on sometimes. But what is a lifespan of what y'all do with the title policy?
If it's a clean file, or a clean property, I can be ready to close within 5 to 10 business days. Okay. on our end. It's going to vary by county. Depending on the county, that sometimes takes a little bit longer to get that title work back. Mm-hmm. Really 5 to 10 business days if it's clean. We should be in a position to be ready to close.
So speaking of clean, what if we had some clients that, might have inherited a property or they've had a property for so long, but they don't have anything, in writing anymore? Can they reach out to you guys and maybe do a quick little search to see if there's anything on the title?
Yeah. It's case by case, but I can tell you that when the owner of the property is coming to us, then, definitely, because that's who owns the property. Okay. We're putting in the work. We do that quite often for, estate. If it hasn't gone through the courts, through probate, then there's a second option. That's the most common would be the affidavit of heirship approach. And that's really, we work with sellers on that all day long.
So what exactly is title insurance? Because a lot of people get confused with title insurance versus the policy.
So the title insurance is the policy. The title commitment is the precursor. So when you bring the contract, to our office, we prepare the commitment. The commitment is going to have all of the information. It's my commitment to you. Once we have these requirements, once these exceptions are approved, that commitment turns into the actual title policy. And the title policy, again, is going to be the piece that insures you as the owner. So there's an owner's policy that insures you as the new owner. And there's the lender's policy, if there is a lender involved, that insures the lender's interest on the property. Okay, and does that start from the day that everyone signs, from that day forward you're protected, or is it that day backwards? So the owner's policy, title insurance is one of the only policies that insures you, it's a one-time fee. Okay. It actually starts the moment that the deed is filed of record. So once it's closed, funded, once that deed is filed of record, that's the effective date for our policy.
Okay.
And what it ensures you is that up to that date, you have that owner's policy. And of course, there's information that carries for the life, as
Sure.
long as you own the property. The only exceptions that we subject to are taxes, because there's always going to be taxes.
Right.
Your mortgage, if there's a mortgage, HOAs, if there's an HOA.
But basically, from that day beyond, like from before you own the property, you're clean and clear. Nothing could come back to you if not the policy kicks in.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of listings. So typically we, put the offer out, and depending on who wants to choose the title company, normally we have the seller choose that point of view. But typically in our market right now, the seller's paying for it, right? Is that kind of what you're seeing right now?
Yeah, the majority of the time, at least here in Texas, the seller is the one that pays for that title policy. It insures the purchaser, and there are some circumstances I've seen that the purchaser will pay for it, but it's rare. Normally, it's a seller's cost.
Gotcha. And that's just basically to prove that there's no liens, debts, or any kind of lawsuits on the property so that the buyer's getting a free and clear title. Well, there you have it. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. If not, have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.